Good afternoon, sir. My name is Maya. My partner here is Favor. We are here to interview you and understand your experience as a trainer and how it aligns with your role. Can you please introduce yourself?
You're welcome. My name is Sulaiman Ibrahim Olainka. I am a trainer in Tinko and Embroidery work. I'm a staff of university at Technical and Entrepreneurship Center, University of Illinois. So,
Thank you, sir. Thank you for honoring our invitation. We really appreciate it. Can you briefly introduce the skill you teach and its real-world application?
well, embroidery is something that is common and it has been existed for a very long time. Majorly, embroidery is something that we Africans are used to, especially from the Sahara region. Embroidery has been existed for a very long time. Initially, it started with the class of people that practice it. We used to have the traditional ruler that used to wear embroidery initially. So it later became every household. So embroidery has started for a very long time with the use of ordinary needle and thread when there's no machine there. So embroidery has been at a very long time by just using your needle and thread to do design on garments. But it has advanced really to a stage of using machine. So among the early machines that we use in making embroideries are Tinko. And that's why the name of this key is Tinko and Embroidery work. So we consider Tinko as priority number one. First, one of those earliest embroidery machine. And all this machine, all this design major people that use this are from the northern part. And some from the Sahara, like Cameroon. We have people from Senegal. All these people make embroidery. So from the north, you can see many agbada. They call it babariga. That being it's a form of embroidery that they do for agbada. In the down part here, in the western part, we also have this etiki. All of these clothes usually have embroidery on them. So embroidery has been in for a very long time. And now recently it has even graduated from ordinary simple machine to computer aided machine. So this is what I can say for now.
Thank you, sir. Why do you believe this skill is important for undergraduate students to learn?
Yes, because one thing is that embroidery is very, very important. So as an Africa, many people fashion or like to have embroidery on their garment. So there are many styles that we have. Most of our native garments will require embroidery. And when you have embroidery on it, it make it more elegant. It make it more beautiful. So many people consider embroidery as something that they need to do on their clothes. So as an undergraduate or as a graduate that want to learn this or are into this, we're expecting to be able to access from this because fashion industry is very, very wide and there are many people are making money from it. So as in the embroidery section. So if a student can master this, it will reduce their reliance on the white collar job, which we believe we want to eradicate from our society, from our mentality. Because at times, the money you make doing embroidery, you can even make better in doing an office job. So if students can see in that direction and bring their knowledge into it, for sure, it will get them more financial, make them more financial stable. So that's the essence and the motive of this. So it will reduce the reliance on the white collar job and to give them better financial independence.
Thank you, sir. What are the basic requirements needed to start learning this skill?
Well, the basic is that one must have that passion. Passion comes first. You must have the passion for the job. We are not interested it's not something you force people to do. But if someone now say, okay, because it's just an hobby, because once you are doing this kind of a job and you don't have the interest at art, you hardly get it right. You get that? You hardly get it right because you just feel like what was the interest? But once you have that hobby, that passion, you keep on having a very good outcome. You'll be able to do the work better and you'll be able to understand it faster. But without passion, you can't have it. Then you must have the time. It's not something that you can be. If you are learning this, you need to focus on it. Not that you'll be one way or one day on, one day off. It doesn't help. So that consistency matter for you to be a master in this skill.
Okay, thank you, sir. How long does it typically take for a complete beginner to learn this skill?
Well, ordinarily, one thing is that the more you practice, the more you know. But to have a basic knowledge of this skill, you must be able to have a dedicated, at least, averagely, you need like 6 months to master the skill. Though we have some fast learner that we even learn in less than that period of time. But I see some people that may take time before they can learn it. But averagely 6 months.
Okay, sir. What are the fundamental steps in mastering these skills?
Well, the step that you need to take in mastering this, for sure, you need to just get some material practice. You need material to practice on. When you get the material, you must be accessible. You must have a machine to work on. Understand? Because when I'm talking about this design or embroidery, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean just one design. You may choose one of it. As I said, Tinko is also an embroidery machine, but we still have various type of embroidery machine. But anyone that you want to practice, you must be able to have the machine available, get the material needed, and you must be ready to work and to learn.
What materials does a beginner need to start this work?
I said you need a machine because some of these machines are, most of these embroidery need machine. Though there are some hand knitting embroidery, but here we are not saying that. Because I don't expect someone to be sitting at this modern age to be working by mere hand. So you need machine, and depend on what machine you require, you may decide to choose. As I said, you have Tinko. Here with our students at the University of Learning, we have our Tinko embroidery machine. We have 20U. We have our overlock machine. We have our Aikisama. We have monograms. So those are it.
Are these materials expensive for an average student?
Not really expensive. As I said, if you are just to focus on Tinko alone, though this time around, we are having many, we have, because of the issue of economy, the change in the economy, the price of the machine initially was not that expensive. But as things started to grow up, with the value of our naira compared to the dollar, it has made it a bit expensive. So averagely, if you have to get a machine to train on, if you have to buy, definitely it will be on the higher hundreds. At least maybe if you're talking about like 400,000 to buy a machine. Though for someone that want to learn, you don't need the machine initially. If you have a place to learn, that facility may be used for your training. So once you master, you can now go ahead and buy whatever you need. But you just need another thing that is most important is your material to practice. You may need a piece of cloth. You need some piece of cloth. You need to buy some thread, buy some needle, buy some stay for the glue and all that. Those are just petty material that one can easily have.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Can this skill be learned online, or it has to be physical? It has to be physical required.
Well, embroidery can be learned online, but it will have its own limitation. Because one thing about practical, most of this is purely practical. It's just like you say you want to learn a car online. You can learn it, but it depends how you operate when you have the car to drive. The same thing that happens to the machines. You can be taught online, but you still need a base, a station, somewhere you must practice on those before you can say, okay, I know this. Because when you talk about practical, you cannot say, you won't say that you master practical without doing a practice. So the practice must be done physically.
What is the structure of your learning program? How long does it take for beginners to learn?
I said earlier that you need 6 months minimum averagely for you to learn. Averagely, you need 6 months.
Okay, sir. What common challenges does beginner face?
Normal challenge they face is that one is confidence, lack of confidence. One thing is that once you have the confidence that you can do this, you do it better. But most of students that are learning this, initially they feel like this is how can I do this? Once you say a job, you say this is, you feel like I cannot do this. Because not something like you do every day, you are new into the job, but that confidence, that Self-confidence is what most people lack, and that's what we try to address in there.
Okay, sir. How do you help students to overcome these challenges?
Yes. Well, what I usually do is that I let them know that you see, there's nothing that comes from heaven, and I try to boost their confidence that this is something you can do. If I can do it, definitely anybody can do it also, because I'm still a woman being. It doesn't not that hard. So what I usually use that to boost their confidence in doing it. And once they have that confidence, they can do anything on embroidery.
What practical exercise or projects do you use to reinforce learning?
Well, as I said, we used to have this normal practical, as in giving them some piece of cloth and let them try and do something, a rough cloth. They make some rough clothes and design on it. That's what we usually do to just today.
How can a student build a strong portfolio with this skill?
Well, that's easy. Once you have the money to invest on, fashion industry is very wide. Embroidery is very wide. As I said, the machine that can do embroidery are many, and they have their various roles. Monogram alone is a very big industry now. With monogram embroidery machine, one can make a living that is even more better than many professors could make. So, with monogram alone, you are a millionaire. So, those are just
Experience. What separates a beginner from an exceptional one?
well, once you're a beginner, for sure, you have your weakness and you have your limitation. So, once you become a master in it, for sure, they are not alike. You cannot compare a beginner with someone that mastered the job. So whenever they are on the machine, you see their performance and their output. It's something that you can see. So it's not something you can manage. If someone is good on the job, you will know from the output. If you are a beginner, you see, because there will be that the difference will be clear.
Okay, sir. At what stage can a beginner start earning with this process?
Well, with the embroidery work, you can begin to earn even from the start. In embroidery work, you can begin to earn from the start. What I'm explaining from start is that you can have your customer, and that ends up being a student. A student, a university student, should not wait until you become a master before you can earn, because it's to earn as you grow. So even if there are some jobs that you may even just be an intermediary within your trainer and the customer outside. Get the job from the customer, give them a bill, so you be the one that will facilitate the job, and you still get the commission. You get that? So it's easy to make money from.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Can you give example of successful students who now make money with this skill?
Well, there are many. One thing about our program is that there are many students that are making living with this embroidery. So recently, I just had a student that graduated from here. He's a University of Illinois student, and he graduated. Then he's trying to learn this along the line. So now he's making some money using monogram. So students have been making money on this job. You understand? So even before most of the students leave our center at the university, they are making money. Because when people know you can do this, they give them the job and they bring it in, they pay some token, and they keep the rest with them. So they are making living.
Okay, thank you, sir. How much can a dedicated student realistically expect from within the first 3 months?
Well, one thing is that I know is that it depends on the student capability. Once you have the strength of attracting customers, definitely you make more. So students that are very, very, very intelligent, they make more money. They can make in hundreds of thousands if they have a very business strategy. Because one thing about everybody is that you can just go outside and search for your customer. We can do this, we can do that. So once you have the job, you get your own commission. You get that? So they can make in hundreds of thousands. It depends on how good they are. But if you are not that good, you cannot search for your customer, definitely may be earning less. How I can say.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. What are the startup costs involved in monetizing these skills?
Well, one thing is, when I say the minimum you can start this business with is around 500,000. you want to go into embroidery work, you must not have less than 500,000 so that you have something meaningful. And it can be more. You can even start up with the minimum is that, and the maximum is even not. It's more. It's higher. You get that? The maximum is higher than whatever you can even mention here because you can buy a monogram machine that is as high as like 200 million naira. If I imagine. So it depends on whatever you need. So the money and your budget matter. So, but the minimum is that if you are going to have an embroidery machine, you have to buy just one, which should be around the range of 500,000.
Okay, thank you, sir. What mistake do students often make when trying to monetize this skill?
Well, one thing is you must have a very good planning and you must know where to locate your business. If you choose a wrong location, definitely it will affect your income. So, majorly most people have this machine or they have this. Unfortunately, they are located in the wrong place, in the wrong area. Then, think that's answer the question. Let me not.
Thank you, sir. What advice you give students who want to scale from small jobs to more projects, to major projects?
So, well, the advice I will give to them is that one, before you can upgrade or you scale up, you must be able to understand what customer are you targeting. If you are not having enough customer, you don't need to buy a higher machine or increase your invest more than what you have. Try and maintain what you have on ground. For instance, you can start with just you have a monogram machine with just a single head. Instead of going from one head to like 6 head, you can go to 2 head. Meaning that you are going to have you can produce 2 jobs at a time. But if you are producing more and you don't have someone that will take it in, then it's a bit to your disadvantage.
Okay, thank you, sir. How long does it take to reach mastery competence?
As I said earlier, you need 6 months minimum to become a master. But one thing about any job is that the more you practice, the more you know. And let me tell you, even as I am now, I've been in the job like for more than 20 years. I can say it's more than 20 years, but still, every day I learn. Because since knowledge, new things come up every day. People are thinking, so you don't need to just say specific people, but at least minimum you can start within 6 months and become a master, but you still learn on the job. The more you practice, the more you know.
Thank you, sir. What additional courses can complement this skill?
Well, what complement our embroidery is maybe, let me say, tailoring, or let me say, garment making. Both of them go out and on because there are some. Because since you are into a fashion industry, sewing garments or making this also complement with embroidery work. So both goes hand in hand.
Okay, thank you, sir. Are there opportunities for students to start a business with this skill?
For sure. That's the motive. The motive is that we expect every student to start a business with this skill. But the minimum is that you can be intermediary. If you are not even having the shop yet, you can be liaising with a company that produce garment let me say embroidery industry, and your customer outside, you can get a job from outside, liaise with those customers, get it to where you can get the job done, and you earn your own commission in between them. Yeah.
What is the maximum income potential for someone who becomes highly competent?
I say, though, depending on where you were and what you have and the machine you had. If you have like we have in University of Learning now, with the machine you have, if you have something like this, then it's really expect less than $1 million a month in doing this business. If you have if you have a full embroidery workshop, it will be any million in a month.
Okay, thank you, sir. How can students continuously improve and stay updated in this skill?
There are many ways you can improve yourself. One, you must stay alert. You must know what's going on, the trending designs, because every day there are many designs coming up. People are thinking and creating more design. You must be current online. You get that. You must be more. You must update your skill. You must be ready to adjust to the new design and the new task ahead. So those are the areas that you need to.
Okay, sir. What final advice would you give undergraduate students about learning and monetizing this skill?
Final advice: students not see this as let's not see that something that is not profitable. Let me tell you, as I said earlier, you can make more money in this job than what you can earn in most salary job that you have in town. So you don't even need to have all this machine before you start making money. But it's good that if you have the machine, it's under advantage. So once you understand this job, you can be liaising with someone that have the machine and a customer from outside. So like once you meet a customer, or you meet a school, or you meet someone, you can do this, I can do this for you. I can do it this way. So once you give them the price, you will bargain with them. You cannot get the job to where it will be done. And you'll be in between them. And once you also master this, you will know when something is wrong and when something is right. And there are even some people also really that have the machine, but they don't have the expertise. That expertise is what they don't have. So you can be in that, you can fill in that gap for them, and you'll be earning more. And let me tell you, most people pay even more than the normal in white collar job that we have outside. If they know you have the skill and you are very good in it, they are ready to engage you, and you'll be making money from it.
Thank you, sir. What should students do immediately after completing this skill in order to start earning?
Well, what they can do is what I just made mention of now. So for them to start earning from this job, they can start right away once they start to train or once they are a bit good. They can ask with people from outside. Let them know this is what we can offer you, and you get the job. You supply them the job, you have the money, and you pay. You get your money in between. That's just it.
Which advice will you give a beginner who has intention to learn this skill?
They can always come. They can always come and learn. They can learn. This is something that if you learn, you won't regret it. As I am, I learned it when I'm very young, and now I'm making a living with it. Apart from being a university staff, though, I was able to contribute to the society. So there are many designs made for the university. Among them is the new PhD gown, postgraduate gown, which is the first the university has just produced, because initially the university don't have in the University of Ilorin, they don't have their own gown. Most of their gown is being purchased from outside. But we happen to be one of the first people that now design, produce the PhD gown that is being customized by University of Ilorin. So you can see that it's an achievement. So anybody can make money through embroidery. Don't think that it can be anywhere, it can be higher. And let me tell you, apart from even internationally, this job is always welcome, because most textile designer abroad, they still need embroidery to brand their product. There are many makers that have their brand. You can see Nike, you can see Adidas, all of them use embroidery in their logo or in their product. So that I can advise. It's a very fast and improving, and Africa is even using it more and more.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for sparing us your time. We really appreciate it.